What's up, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of the Sit Down. As always, if you enjoy this video, please make sure you hit that like button and let me know what you think of today's discussion in the comment section below. If you're new around here, you just haven't done it yet, or you're living on a rock and seeing this video for the first time, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit that subscribe button below now so you never miss another sit down video. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a breaking news story and exclusively will only be heard on this show. This will be a video a little different than our normal Saturday videos. However, there are some interesting developments coming out of South Philadelphia in terms of a situation that happened last evening at Chicky and Pete's restaurant in South Philadelphia. The only person to put a little bit about this out was Dave Stratweiser, Fox 29, retired reporter, but he didn't mention who it involved. He really kind of just threw out what police are telling us. What I did is I went to the source. As many of you know, I used to live in South Philly. I got to speak to a few people, and they told me what really went on here last night. And I'm going to say it right out. What you will hear today is from people that were there. They saw what happened, and it was pretty wild. It was a tale of a couple of different stories within a story. It would then spill out into the parking lot. An alleged mobster's wife showed up with a pipe. She was detained. That said, the woman with the pipe and her husband, from what I understand, were absolutely in the right. And when I tell you why this Philly mob guy showed up, you absolutely would do the same if it was your family. So let's delve into it here. Another interesting story out of South Philadelphia on the sit down. Let me do a little history, though. Let's just bring the cat out of the bag. The Philly mobster allegedly involved in this was Johnny Chang Changolini. Now, Johnny Chang is the son of Philly mob heavyweight and old school mobster Joe Chicky Changlini. Now, as we know, back in the 80s and into the 90s, the Changolini family, Chicky Chang had three sons, Michael, Joey, and Johnny. Now, in the Philly mob wars of the early 90s, all of these guys were on different sides. Joey Chang was on the side of John Stanfa. Michael Chang was whacked while he was with Joey Merlino outside a clubhouse. Joey was wounded. Him and Mikey were friends. Mikey died and passed away that day. Johnny Chang was in prison with his father during that time. They were both in prison and were not on the street. Obviously, dust settles many years later. Johnny Chang had always been within the Merlino faction, allegedly, served prison time alongside Joey in the 90s and into the 2000s. And over the last 10 or so years, has faced scrutiny. He was indicted, involved in some things, but for the most part has been quiet. Obviously, he's getting older, not as in good health as he once was. But from what I understand and from what I know, all the people that I spoke to and from people that I know and from what I've heard, Johnny Chang's a really nice guy. He's had little businesses in the area. Him and his wife are, always around, community people. Let me start this story at the beginning. There's a little history lesson for you. So this involves Johnny Chang. And again, from what I understand, when you hear this story, Johnny Chang was absolutely in the right as far as we know. Let's start at the beginning. The people in Johnny Chang's family, women, nieces, that sort of thing, were either in Chicky and Pete's or working at Chicky and Pete's at the time. One of the women, Johnny Chang's niece, I'm not going to say her name, was there with her boyfriend. The boyfriend was, horsing around and got into some sort of verbal altercation with two men, both from South Philly, one of which was Joey Baldino. That is an old photo of Joey. Joey is a business owner, has had issues over the years with certain people that we would allege are mob guys. And Joey's related to mobsters as well. I'm not going to go into his family tree, but if you know, you know. Joey's had issues, like I said, at times. He was there with someone else, a construction owner. He owns a construction company. Big guy. They were drunk. They get into it with the boyfriend. To which, during all this, a little fracas ensues, nothing crazy. Johnny Chang is contacted or calls of some sort. During all this, the construction owner chokes out one of the girls, allegedly Johnny Chang's niece, to which he comes barreling in the door and, from what I understand, slapped the shit out of the construction owner. What I hear. Again, I wasn't there. That's what I'm being told. Now, police would say that the construction owner slapped Johnny. From what I understand, that's not true. After the slap, they're pulled apart. The construction owner cold cocks another girl, knocks her out cold. This then spills into the street. Police show up in all of this, and I'm going to show her because she was arrested and involved. Johnny Chang's wife shows up, Kathy Chang, with a pipe, which she has admitted. She's talked about. I'm going to show you the post. And she's wanting to go after because, again, this is Johnny Chang and Kathy Chang's nieces. This is their family. Any mama bear or auntie bear or uncle would do the same for their nieces and nephews. Some people's nieces and nephews are like their children. I know a lot of us will react this way. You have two drunk guys who are hitting women, acting like, crazy. So Kathy Chang's arrested, taken into custody. Johnny Chang, same thing. This then is in the street. A fracas ensues between Joey Baldino, who was arrested, and the police. From what I understand, a police is hit even, and that's mentioned in an article by Fox 29. I'm going to show you this fight. Bear with me 1 second here. Let me pull it up. There's Kathy Chang. You can see her being walked away. Now, keep in mind, the white shirt, gray pants is Joey Baldino. There you go.
Holy fuck. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Got him in close.
You got it. Dude, I took it back.
All right, so we're going to stop that because we're hearing some slurs we don't want to put on YouTube. Now, that video comes from WTF Philadelphia. That was sent in by a person there. So then calm ensues. But the truth of the matter is, two individuals, one a construction owner, knocked out cold the niece of Johnny Chang. Now, Kathy Chang, who was arrested, we saw her being walked away. She was there with a pipe to defend her family. She took to Instagram. There's one thing about Kathy Chang. She's always very vocal. She says what really happened. Now, I want to make this clear. We try to be fair on this channel. This is her words, not mine. I'm just going to show you what she said. She would state, quote, "Yes, I jumped out of my car and swung a pipe on a piece of shit that fucks with one too many of my nieces. No, Johnny Chang did not get knocked out. The only person that got knocked out was a girl because they didn't have the balls. I swung my pipe, hit a few, and got arrested. Hashtag don't fuck with my girls." And the song playing is Who run the world? Girls. So there you go. There you go. That's the story. So we would have to admit, Kathy Chang will, she admitted to what she did. She's proud. When it comes to your family, especially close family, from what I understand, they're very close with their nieces. You do what you have to do. And the two individuals that started all this shit fucked up. They did something they shouldn't have did. Alcohol obviously played a part here. And now we'll see what happens next. Johnny Chang, look, as I said, he is getting older. Okay. No one is secret about that. That comes to all of us. But he's still someone who is involved with that world. And these things play themselves out. Now in South Philly, everybody knows everybody. And I think one of the issues we're starting to see that continues to pop up is Mr. Baldino. This is not the first time he has done something that is going to be talked about, let's just say. I'm not going to go into particulars because the other thing I'm talking about was never criminally proven, I don't believe. But this is becoming problematic. And when you start allegedly hitting women, then we have a real problem, especially in a public place, which is Chicken Pete's is about as public as it gets in South Philly. Not that if it were anywhere else, it would be good, but a lot of people saw this. This is going to be a big story. I mean, this is something that I think if the right people get a hold of, with the mob connection, this could be a big story. So whenever you hear the word mob, mafia, mafia associate, South Philadelphia, people's names, that becomes a bigger story. We always know that the name Gotti drew headlines. The name Merlino draws headlines. Philly mob, the mob tinge. People like the mob. It's interesting. People want to see it. I wanted to come on today and I wanted to talk a little bit about what happened. And that, again, story comes from several people, and I consider it to be factual. I really do. I think we need folks, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but we need people that are going to offer what really happened. And I'm not saying Dave Stratweiser didn't have the right story. He got his story directly from the police record from the first district. But we'll see what happens next in this. Johnny Chang has been, for the most part, pretty quiet. But again, when you mess with somebody's real family, then that's when you have a problem. So the people that know, it wasn't Johnny Chang that got slapped. It was the other people. So that's that for today's video. You never know what days are going to hold as far as the story is concerned. We are not credited journalists here. I'm an independent reporter. That's it. I go where the story is. So if you have any more you'd like to add, drop it in the comments below. Also, what do you think of this story? What would you do in this situation? As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, and we'll see you next week here on the Sit Down.